Well, to discuss the Pope's comments, we're joined by Marie Fahy from Catholic Voices, an initiative that aims to improve representation of the Catholic Church in the UK. Thanks very much indeed for coming in. Let's just start with those comments about his health. He said he probably had 2 or 3 years left to live. What do you make of that? Do you think he really has health concerns, or it's a throwaway comment that was sort of seized on? And how wise was it for him to have said that? You know, could that destabilise the Church in some way?
I think that, given his age, he's 77, as the report said, and the schedule he has and how much different travels he has to take, I think given that, it's very reasonable for him to say that maybe in a few years he'll be approaching 80, that he cannot keep up the pace that he's doing at the present. I think maybe he wants to make sure that his papacy doesn't become just a cult about his personality, because although he's very popular and we all love him, I suspect, by saying this, saying maybe he hasn't got that long, I don't think he's saying it in terms of that there's some terrible thing he knows about that we don't know about. But I think he's trying to say that the Church is bigger than him. It's not just about his person. It's not about any person. It's about the people of God. And although he is our vicar on earth at the minute, that won't be the case forever. So we need to take it in that spirit.
It's a sort of humble message, as it were.
Absolutely.
He made quite a rare pronouncement by saying that the international community needs to sort of wade in, and it wouldn't be... he would support if they were to help stop the advancement of the jihadists. I mean, that's quite unusual, particularly given the Vatican's stance.
I think we need to take that in terms of he's always looking and he's always promoting peace first and foremost. You know, his name Francis, after St. Francis of Assisi. It's all about peace. But he's also a realist, and last year when he spoke at a hospital, he said compassion can't be turning a blind eye. So we need to have compassion for the poor, whoever they are, and the poor don't mean to be physically poor, they can be spiritually poor, or people, minorities who've had to leave their homes. And what he said about this situation is that we need to stop the terrorism, everything that's going on, all the atrocities that we've seen have to be stopped by whatever means. So he's not advocating going in, you know, advocating war, advocating taking things over. It's about finding a way to stop it and doing that with the whole United Nations community.
But does that show perhaps that he's out of touch? Because I picked up on those words as well.
Yes.
And, you know, how else can one stop it if not through aggression? Dealing with these people? I
think there is that precedent because, you know, you could look back to just war theory and you could say the Pope, if people are being victimised, if they're being brutalised, if it is a legitimate time to stop this evil, and if there is no other resort, if all the other resorts have been, you know, taken, then maybe there is some other way, but that has to be discussed in a forum.
Would it be slightly cynical of me to say perhaps he may not have waded into the debate had the Christian community not been targeted?
I don't think so, because he said yesterday, I think, that it's not just the Christian minority. Every minority there is a child of God, and every minority there has to be protected. I think what's different about this conflict is just the cruelty, the absolute cruelty, the displaced people, and just not standing aside and letting that go on.
Mm-hmm. Pope Francis also has just lifted a ban on the beatification of the murdered Salvadorian Archbishop Oscar Romero. I mean, for years, the Catholic Church blocked that process, didn't it, because of concerns about his ideas, his Marxist ideas. Why has that been so problematic for the Church, and what will it mean now, this change in policy towards him?
Well, Archbishop Romero wasn't a Marxist. He was somebody who cared passionately for the poor. The whole idea of liberation theology and what was going on has lots of different things and lots of things attached to it. And some of the people who attached it wanted Oscar Romero to be held up as this Marxist figurehead, which he wasn't. The situation at the time with the death squad who ultimately killed him was, you know, he didn't just speak out against it, talking about, you know, Pope Francis saying about, you know, we must go and do something, he actually was there with the poor, and he said that these injustices, victimisation, 2% of the wealth was in 2% of the population at the time. There was a dictatorship, so he was the one, he knew that he might die saying this. So he's unblocked this in order to allow it to happen, but in a, yeah.
OK, a very big change there then for now. Thank you, Marie,
Thank you
for joining us.
Thank you.